Tammy, where's that nice, beautiful fire that you're always sitting by?
I had to move away from it because it's pretty intense right now.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
It's a
That's
little warm in
amazing.
here.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you so envious? We're out of firewood. We used it all up, I think, last I heard.
I actually took an axe and started trying
You
to
did.
cut things down, try to test out my man card, but I had to give it back because
If it burns, it goes in there. Like all of our packing stuff, our Amazon boxes, like it all goes in there.
I literally last week was gonna ask you, is that a one of those screen like a green screen or whatever in the back? Because it looks so perfect. So I was expecting to see this beautiful fire. I get so envious every time I see it. I was like, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, he's a sucker for fires
Give me
and
a fire.
sunsets.
Yes.
Oh,
I'd say those are
Amen.
the two.
It's gonna be
oh,
perpetually going in heaven. Fire, sunset.
fire we're waiting on the sunsets out here still. A little too
Hey, we
cold.
got another man on here tonight. Let's go, Cam. Come on, represent. Let's go. I I'm excited to read your book, Cam.
Oh,
I got it on my top of my to-do list. So hopefully over the next couple days we'll be able to get it rolling.
Nice, nice.
You guys doing good out there?
Yes, we've enjoyed a couple of days of no fireplace weather, but getting ready to go back into fireplace weather.
That's cool.
Midwest for you.
100%. I
Yeah.
know some of our Minnesotan family and friends were like, it's shorts weather, but in their videos, you still see the snow. Like, oh man, that is the Midwest for you. All right. Well, I wanted to pass this on to a couple of ladies here on the front end of this Zoom. I got a message from Angela. She was so excited about some conversations she and Jess were having. I'm like, this is perfect. And they were so kind to say, yes, we can totally chime in on the Zoom. I think we've had several discussions as a team around ways we can strengthen some of our skill sets, especially in helping us with retention, right? And helping steward customers and their health journey. We all know that sometimes we don't see all the results in that first 30 days. We've talked through like subscription rate, right? And all the different things. And so they had a beautiful conversation and I asked if they would share. So I think, Angela, you're going to take it away first and then pass it on. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
there's really not too much on my end. Jess is really the one who just had so much great information that I reached out to Kristen and was like, if you ever need an idea for Tuesday, Jess would do it. Let me ask Jess first, but this is great. Like, so we were just kind of chatting about how when we started Plexus, what products we started on, stuff like that, how we typically talk to potentials and VIPs, stuff like that. And she mentioned something like, just the normal. I say 90 days. I make sure that they're ready to commit to 90 days. And I said, so what does that look like? How do you even go about that? Because I feel like I originally started and was just like, I want to sign people up. What are your health goals? And that was kind of, I never really got into the 60 to 90 days thing. But the more I got into Plexus and learned all of this, the more I realized how important that is and how I really need to be more focused on that and explaining to people what's going to happen in these 30, 60, 90 days. And I love that Jess actually says, like, 90 days. Like, I'm telling everyone 90 days. I don't want you to start unless you are ready to commit, because then you could just be wasting your money if you're not really ready to give it your all, because it takes 90 days to, I think she knows all of the details of this, but to see your whole body, like everything flip on the inside and all that stuff. So, I know that I'm probably not the only one, but I have recently had a lot of people just kind of reach out and say, I'm not really seeing anything. And I'm like, well, it's only been like 20, 30 days. It hasn't even been a month. And I even had one lady who did the reset, so 3 days. And I made sure, like with her, I really talked about natural products and how we really have to give it a chance. And she was all on board for it. And I thought she was ready to go. But after those 3 days of doing the reset, she came back to me and said, I saw no results. I felt nothing. I'm just sending it all back. I'm done. And I was like, oh, Oh, wow. Okay. So that kind of really stuck with me. And now I just really want to make sure that I am making sure that everyone knows what it really means, what these 30, 60, 90 days are all about, and that they are committed to it. So I'll let Jess get into the rest of it and like what she tells everyone because it was just like mind blowing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like I need you to write this all down for me so that I can just go and pass this along to everyone. So, all you, Jess.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, it was a great conversation. It was funny because as we were just, messaging each other over Facebook, it's like sometimes some of the things that you're saying to people, you don't even think about it. What I will say is that what I learned. So I'm going to share with you guys kind of setting like a 90-day expectation. And so one of the things that I've come to realize is that we're really in the relationship, results, and referral business. And when I bought my first house, my realtor, who has grown to be a wonderful, wonderful friend, she said to me, I am not working for the sale of your house. I am working for your referral. And that stuck with me because her goal was to serve me so well. And what our goal should be is to serve people so well that they would be so excited to share with others and to share their experience with the products with us. And so this is kind of where like setting that 90-day expectation, it really serves them because instead of us giving them a false belief that they're going to resolve an issue that they might have had that may have begun 3 years ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago, and letting them think that they're going to resolve that in an unrealistic period of time. And so when I first started sharing the Plexus products, I was like excited about sharing them, but then you also get like a little bit like nervous about you don't want to push anybody and why don't you just try it? And I had that same experience where I felt like some people were coming back to me after 30 days and they were like, well, and I just knew that there was so much healing left in their bodies. And so that kind of made me have to shift my focus. And Jess Jeruzik, who is my upline, like she really was like, you got to go for the 90 days, like don't be afraid. And so I just felt like that helps to get them better results. So one of the ways that I do this with people is after having that initial conversation, and Krista, you always encourage us so well to identify what is their like primary health goal. But in that, usually people will reveal what their struggle was that has led them to the point of seeking solutions. And so in that, I'll explain to them, like, if it took 3 years for your body to get to that place, it's probably going to take you some time, maybe a couple months to begin to come out of that. And so what I'll usually tell them is, I recommend all my clients commit to 90 days. And that's how I phrase it. Like, that's how everyone is doing it. I recommend that all my clients commit to 90 days because that's really how long it takes the body to regulate and come back into balance. So just to remember that your body's at a deficit. And so it's going to take some time just to bring you back to homeostasis. And it's really at that point at 90 days that your body's starting to thrive. So it takes 60 days to form a habit, and it takes about 90 days for the body to regulate and integrate the changes. And that's really how I word it for them to help them gain the perspective of how their body will be processing what the different products they're using and how long it's going to take for those changes to start to happen. But I always do remind them that you're going to experience small wins along the way. So I don't want anyone to get discouraged that it's going to be this long time before they feel anything. And I remind them about particularly non-scale victories, but like more energy, less bloat, better sleep, more stable moods, the mental clarity, and how as they go along, that those benefits are compiling and you're healing as you're healing your gut, and then you're working towards whatever that big goal is that they've said is like their major health goal. And then the one thing that Angela and I had been talking about is your timing and your the expectations. So sometimes we have a person who's in a season where they just really want the quick fix. And I think we need to be sensitive to that. And it's really important to assess, like, can we offer them something that's going to meet an immediate need? And because like an active, I have trouble focusing, and active gives me energy and helps me focus. And I'm going to feel that immediately. Or someone who's having digestive issues and difficulty eliminating, BioCleanse is going to give them results very quickly. So those are things that we might be able to provide for them. But if somebody has a deeper root issue that's going to require a more long-term solution with triplex or gut health system, or like, let's say, weight loss, we really I feel like I want to make sure that they're really ready to commit, and that sometimes I almost feel like it's better to let them wait until they're really ready to commit. And I feel like the reason for that is, like, if a person starts it, they're not really committed, they quit because they didn't get the results or they didn't really give it their all. And then especially if we're in like very tight-knit circles, they're like, oh, I tried it, it didn't work. And they really didn't have the full experience, and then they didn't get the full results. And then, of course, then you're not going to get a referral. And I think it's just really important that we're setting everybody up for success, and we're serving them well by being honest with them about what they can expect, and to encourage them, along in that way. So I don't know. I hope that Angela, do you feel like I touched on the things we talked about? Okay. So that's kind of how I'll introduce the 90 days. And then right before they're going to check out, and I can drop this in the Revive chat, I send them a little frequently asked questions. And it says, like, what is a membership? And I explain that it's like a Costco card, it's giving you a discounted price. And then what is the subscription? And then we touch on they ask about what the referral link is, and I kind of explain what that is real quick. And then for the subscription, I just have a little blurb that kind of plants that seed again. That's like 60 days for a habit, 90 days for all of those cells in your body to be adjusting. Just so that really right up into that point of checkout, we're continuing to plant that seed of the 90 days. And I think that way, I've had people who even were like really not getting results. And I thought they were going to just quit, and they'll go, well, I'm going to do the 90 days. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get to the 90 days. And then, of course, I'm praying, oh, Jesus, please let them have breakthrough before the 90 days. But God's good. And then, just being able to have that time, because then we get 90 days to walk with them and to serve them well. It allows us to continue to build and foster those relationships with them through that time, so that they really do get that's the service that we want to give them. So that's it.
Yeah, that's so good. Takeaways, guys. Was that helpful? How many of you feel like I needed that? I needed that reminder, that encouragement, even just the language for how to get them started. And I love, like, because you set that expectation, they're like, well, haven't seen it yet, but I haven't reached that 90 days. That's because of the expectations that you set for them. I think that's so good. I asked Chad to go grab my pink notebook because I knew I had the stat written down from when I was just at corporate in the fall, but they said that 88%, this is triplex customers specifically, but I'm sure it's pretty similar for other products, 80% of customers continue on if they stay on the triplex for 90 days. So this is huge, and it's a blessing on both sides. It really is really good stewardship of a customer saying, hey, you're investing your money. The goal is results. And to get those results, though, you're going to give them some coaching. They don't know what they don't know, right? And so you're helping them really see the fruit of what they're investing in by giving them the proper expectations. Some things, like you mentioned, they're going to see it right away, and others are really going to take time. And then for you as a business owner, I remember Sonia Dudley would give an analogy. I've scoured YouTube. I'm like, where is this video? And I think it's Sonia Dudley, but maybe it wasn't even Sonia Dudley, but I think I'm almost positive it was her years ago. And she would talk about, she would talk about a bathtub analogy. I don't know if you saw Judah in the monitor or what happened, but essentially, like, the goal is fill the bathtub, right? And you have simultaneously, you've got your faucet of new growth, new VIPs, all the things, but there is a drain. And the goal is that faucet is filling faster than this drain, but you really have to work on both components. Sometimes We might be really good on the faucet. We're really great recruiters, and statistics show great recruiting teams. The deficit often is, hey, let's work on retention, because you can be so busy recruiting, and that almost seems like the band-aid for growth, but you're going to have to keep up that pace if the drain isn't fixed. If that drain is really letting water go very quickly, it's going to be very hard to fill the bathtub. So let's minimize how quickly the drain is flowing, maximize, right, what's coming in, but that slowing down that drain, it comes in helping them with subscriptions, helping them with consistency, helping them truly see results. I can't imagine ever stopping the products because they just really do work. Like nothing else gives me energy like drinking an active, like they really are supplements that work. And so as a team, I think our deficit that we get to keep improving on is our subscription rate and our turnover rate. And so it's been so beautiful having these conversations and open dialogue. I think learning from one another. Thank you, ladies, for even just sharing what's working for you. I think it's really powerful and beautiful to hear from you guys. Well, it's not shocking that February has been a quieter month. Who has noticed that? Show of hands. And I really feel like when you go through unique seasons such as this, whether it's, slower time in your business, or it can be you're navigating anything in life, but especially in leadership, I feel like this is the time to shine. Like this is when rubber meets the road, And I've never been on a football team or been inside a locker room at halftime to see what the coach does and the way a coach talks to the losing team. But I would love to hear those pep talks. Like, I just think like that's their moment as a coach. If a team is feeling like deflated and they're not winning and they get to step away for a bit, I'm like, what does that coach say in that moment? Like, that's so defining, right? How he casts vision, the way he encourages, right? To like gather them back together and say, this game isn't over yet. We're only halfway through. And so I have felt that in praying over this team. Just noticing it is quiet and realizing your hearts might be feeling a tension. There's things that kind of show up when things aren't going well, right? And in this journey, it's not my first go around to have a slower month, especially a slower February. But no matter how many times you navigate a high or a low, it doesn't mean that I'm numb or immune to the fact that things can surface in our hearts that we get to kind of wrestle out in preparation for what is to come. But it confronts different things. It can confront fear or whatnot. And so a few days ago, I was like, Lord, what is on your heart for Team Revive right now? And the first thing I heard was, she's not dead, she's sleeping. And so I've just been sitting in the story. I'd like to read this story out of the Gospels, if you don't mind. And I've just written down some of my own takeaways that I'm leaning into, and grab whatever resonates in your heart and throw away the rest. Deal? But let me just read this first, if I can see, because by golly, it is dim. Actually, can I turn on this light? If you do have your Bibles anywhere near you in your home, grab it. We're in the book of Luke, chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 40. I'm just going to read through it really quick and then throw some points and pass it to Chad. All right. On the other side of the lake, the crowds welcomed Jesus because they had been waiting for him. Then a man named Jairus, a leader of the local synagogue, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come home with him. His only daughter, who was about 12 years old, was dying. As Jesus went with him, he was surrounded by the crowds. A woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding, and she could find no cure. Coming up behind Jesus, she touched the fringe of his robe. Immediately, the bleeding stopped. "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. Everyone denied it, and Peter said, "Master, this whole crowd is pressing up against you." But Jesus said, "Someone deliberately touched me, for I felt healing power go out from me." When the woman realized that she could not stay hidden, she began to tremble and fell to her knees in front of him. The whole crowd heard her explain why she had touched him and that she had been immediately healed. "Daughter," he said to her, "your faith has made you well. Go in peace." While he was speaking to her, a messenger arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the synagogue, and he told him, "Your daughter's dead. There's no use troubling the teacher now." But when Jesus heard what had happened, he said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid, just have faith and she will be healed." When they arrived at the house, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, James, and the little girl's father and mother. The house was filled with people weeping and wailing, but he said, "Stop the weeping. She isn't dead. She's only asleep." But the crowd laughed at him because they all knew she had died. Then Jesus took her by the hand and said in a loud voice, "My child, get up." And at that moment, her life returned, and she immediately stood up. Then Jesus told them to give her something to eat, which I think is so cute. Her parents were overwhelmed, but Jesus insisted that they not tell anyone what had happened. All right, point number 1, humility. We see humility in Jairus. Here he is. Oh, someone needs admitted into the Zoom. There you are. Guys, I just have to tell you because now I have the giggles. An Amazon delivery came. It was dark outside.
This is a break in the action, just a little commercial break, just to feel the humanity of Christian here.
We have a sunroom and it's all glass windows, and the kids are like, "There's someone out there. There's someone in the driveway." We see lights, so I go to the glass windows, which means anyone out there, because it was darker than dark, means they can see me fine. But I couldn't see anything. And so I'm looking, I opened the door, I'm still looking, and all of a sudden there was this Amazon lady. I was like, "There you are." And I thought that was normal. Like, I found her. It was like a Where's Waldo game. But apparently my daughters and Chad were losing their minds laughing at me. And it's been this running joke. "There you are." They're like, "That's such a Krista Deary thing to say."
Just imagine you're an Amazon person and you're walking up to the door, having zero context, and the person opens the door. "Oh, there you are." And it was like, it was good. You had to be there, I'm sure, but
Anyways,
good commercial break.
Rachel needed to get on. I was like, "Rachel, there you are. Welcome to the Zoom." Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. Jairus was a leader, yet in his moment of desperation, what did he do? He pursued Jesus and he fell to his knees, right? He fell to the feet of Jesus. I don't care what rank we are. And I think there's times when you're in momentum, you're just like, "I'm amazing. Like, everything's going so well." And then when it's not, you're like, "Where's Jesus?" It's like, where do you turn to? Do we numb out or do we press in through the crowds? We find Jesus and get to his feet in humility, saying, "Actually, Lord, I need you. I am desperate to hear from you. I need a touch from you," right? So that's the first thing. Here's this leader. He knew exactly where to go to when he was in need of a miracle for his daughter. Number 2, I wrote down comparison. Do you feel frustrated or do you get to fuel your faith? I'm not fresh on the heels of Judah going to the hospital, so I'm going to get emotional, which I do anyways, but that's fine. The desperation as a mom, when you see your child's life very fragile before you, like, there is a desperation on you that is unlike anything, right? Like, for us, it meant stick them on a sled, get them through a snowstorm down our driveway, and friends driving them to the hospital. You just do what you've got to do to save a life. So here he is, a desperate dad, and his daughter's dying, and they're making their way, but he probably feels like, "Hurry up. Like, let's get to my girl." And along the way, though, if there's a divine interruption, which is like so beautiful, right? And we tell this story all the time of the woman who touched the hem of his garment. But what did that dad feel? And I'm like, "Wait, you're skipping so much of the story." Like, was the dad fine with it? Was he like, "Yeah, like, carry on. We might as well just heal 10 more while we're here"? Or was he like, "Hurry up"? But Jesus stopped and he takes time. He wasn't stressed about it. He knew he had plenty of healing power left over to go get to the daughter later, even if she died. But here, amidst like this healing and this miracle, the dad gets news. She's died. She has died. So now he doesn't just need a miracle. He needs a resurrection. You know what I mean? Like, now he needs even more faith. But in times, y'all, where you're in need of a miracle and it seems like maybe the other team has the miracle, Let's just talk business language for a bit. Have you ever been going through a season? You're like, my sideline sister over here, like she's just killing it, right? So you're going to have a lot of room to notice, like, it seems like there's miracle working power over here. I really need it over here. And you can lean into a comparison. You can be frustrated, like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? But I really want to encourage you to let it fuel your faith. I want you to see, like, oh my goodness, this is happening over here. Over 11 years, however many years, I love watching how you'll just have these pockets and you'll have this team here, hot, 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 hot. And then it quiets down. Then another team is like really hot. And even within Team Revive, I can see it within different legs, right? You'll have this team's in momentum. The next month it might sway over here. It's really normal and beautiful. But I think it takes a choice to decide we're not falling for comparison or woe is me, or like, Jesus, what you doing over there? Like, but let it like truly fuel faith. Could he allow this miracle that he just witnessed to fuel his faith of what is possible with the Lord, right? So number 3, then he has this opportunity for greater faith. I put humility, comparison, an opportunity for greater faith. It got worse before it got better. Have you ever felt that way? You're like, surely it can't get any worse than this. Like, I think this is rock bottom. My suddenly is on the horizon. Like, I love the quote of, I think it's a quote, it gets darkest just before the dawn. There's so many moments where I'm like, I think this is as dark as it gets. And then the next day something might happen. I'm like, no, it got darker. Like, and you might feel that way even in your journey where you're like, surely it can't get any harder than this. And the next month you're like, oh, this feels a little bit harder. But it's an opportunity to increase faith and to identify, is there any fear? How was it so simple out of Jesus's mouth to just be like, don't be afraid, just have faith, she'll be healed? Like, he just got news that she died. Was he crying? Was he ballistic? Did he stay strong in faith? I don't know. They don't give me enough details in my stories. But here he needs a miracle, and the Lord's like, do not lean into fear. You have to lean into faith, right? Okay, as you go on to the story, verse, I don't even know. I feel like I'm bouncing around. When he gets there and people are weeping and all the things, what did Jesus do? He reduced the noise, right? His 3 closest disciples, the parents are there, but he really had everyone else scatter. I think in times that maybe you're working through things, in life circumstances, or maybe it's in your business, right? And you're having to lean in, you might need to limit the noise a little bit. Sometimes it might look like unfollowing something on social media, right? Sometimes it might look like some of the conversations you're in that maybe aren't as full of faith. Maybe you don't leave them thinking about what's possible in your journey, but instead thinking like, maybe this is the end. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to reduce the noise externally, but actually I think more times than not, it's reducing the noise internally. It is identifying thoughts and looking for whether or not they align with what the Lord has said. Number 6, get the perspective of heaven. What did Jesus actually say? What has he said to you regarding your journey? What has he asked of you, right? In this case, he's saying, stop weeping. She isn't dead. She's only asleep. Like, we have a choice of believing. And I was thinking back about when Chad had prophesied. I don't know what month it was. All I do know is he prophesied a second wave is coming. And I should know better than to assume that starts the next day. Anybody received a prophetic word, and you have process and timing is everything, let alone testing a word, right? But I was ready. I'm like, boy, howdy, let's go. Second wave starts tomorrow. Okay, maybe next month, maybe a few months. I'm like, where's the second wave? And you guys, I was listening to a call. Was it last January? Stop it. Surely not. It had to have been August. July, June. Okay. But I was on a call. I was listening to a call. Excuse me. I was listening to the recording, and they were talking about this new Slim and Trim combo and all the things that are happening. And I have it playing while I'm getting stuff done. And all of a sudden I had to write it down. All of a sudden I hear one of these leaders say, there's a wave coming. In fact, you can already see it now. I was like, did she just say there's a wave coming? But it just reminded me of like, partnering with what the Lord has said. Part of my day today was even just in praying over Chad and I and in our family, like, Lord, as we are weighing out different prophetic words, first of all, help me discern what was from you. But like, I totally just lost my train of
Was from you.
I lost it. It's gone. It'll come back later. It's great for time. Y'all. What did you say? A New Year frame? Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember when it
Look at them
was.
all helping you out. Come on, look at they're just feeding you.
What was I asking the Lord? Just there's the discerning of what's from him. Oh, but to actually like take action and take hold of the ones that he's like, Krista, I've already said this, and why are you not moving your feet? And so there is a leaning in discerning of seasons, and the Lord does desire to show that to us, right? There have been so many times, and if you've been around, you've heard me talk about this, that there's been so many times where momentum hit, and I look back with 2020 vision, I was like, oh my word, he was just letting me sleep. He let me rest. And I was so busy wrestling with it and thinking I needed to work harder, try something new, or what's this team doing over here? And like, or what's wrong with me? Like, and there is just those things that surface in that. In hindsight, I look back, I'm like, he gave me a season of rest that equipped me and prepared me to run. And I've seen it, I've lived it so many times, but still am having to remind myself, Krista, lean into it. Steward well, keep doing the things, don't give in to fear, don't grab the bait of the enemy, right? Stay focused on what Jesus is saying, stay humble and at his feet, discern your season. But then the last thing I wrote is simple obedience. He simply asked the girl to get up and told mom and dad, get her some food. I think there is still some simple obedience that we can walk out. And truly, I do see a lot of excitement happening. There is a lot in the Diamond pages and in the chats right now with this new combo. I would encourage you to begin reading about it. If you haven't already, begin sharing. There's all of our personalities show up when something new comes, because some people see something new and they're like, bam, posting about it. Don't know what I'm going to say after that, but I'm just jumping in the river and I'll just figure it out as I go. You have some that are more cautious and they're like, let me see this. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and making sure I have capacity to respond to all the comments that might come once I post it. So all of our personalities may show in something new like this, but I can say very strongly, people are getting really, really good results. And the talk of the town right now is, hey, for a season, I'll be focusing very strongly on this combo. We have the group that will be running March 8th, but I would really encourage you, take some simple obedience, study what's available right now, maximize it the best of your ability as we finish out what's left of the month of February and prepare for a really, really strong March. I really believe it will be beautiful.
It's awesome. So as soon as Krista like typed that, she's not dead, only asleep, she sent it to me and I read it. The first thing I heard was something slightly different, and it just shows you kind of like just the body of Christ working together. The first thing I heard was awake, awake, Deborah. And it was like instantaneously as I heard. So, and I had to go back and I've reread it multiple times now. And so I'm just going to kind of give the flip side of that word that Krista just gave you guys. And in case you don't know much about the story, Deborah was a judge. There was Israel was oppressed for 20 years. And basically Deborah, is this woman of stature that people are coming to for advice, for counsel. And she helps and assists basically in the killing of Sisera. I don't know if that's the right way. Cam can probably correct me, but and she begins to sing this song with another leader, and I'm just gonna like just sing it for you. I'm just kidding, Krista. I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing. It's my time to sing, Krista. I'm not gonna sing for you, but I will read it. I'm going to read in Judges 5. When the leaders lead in Israel, when the people willingly offer themselves, bless the Lord. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princess. Even I will sing to the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord of Israel. I'm going to jump to verse 8. Until I, Deborah, arose a mother in Israel. They chose new gods. There was war in the gates. Not a shield or spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. And then jumping down to verse 12, she's singing this song. This is like this is her battle cry. This is her heart just overflowing of the abundance of what's inside of it. And she's even singing to herself. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake, sing a song. Arise, Barak, and lead your captives away, O son of Abinam. And then I'm going to just close in verse. So all this, she's singing this like encouraging song, and at the end, verse 31, she said, let all of your enemies perish, O Lord, but let those who love him be like the sun when it comes out in full strength. But let those who love him be like the sun when it comes out in full strength. So here's the takeaways and the parallels that I felt like the Lord was putting together. One is that, obviously, yes and amen to everything Krista said. But on top of that, there is, I believe, this prophetic catapult that the Lord is wanting to do in your hearts tonight. And so we're going to take just a moment, just like 60 seconds, and I'm going to invite you guys into a process with the Lord. And if you haven't done this, don't get too uncomfortable. It'll be all right. But basically, we're gonna put on some music in the background, and I'm just gonna invite you into process with the Lord of what He's telling you to sing. What is this next season gonna look like? And so what that means, it could be you just dreaming for a minute, writing down your dreams. It could be like all of a sudden you have this thought that's not from you and you're writing it down. But I believe that, there has been some sleeping in the camp, and now she's awakened, but where's she going? What's going to happen next? And that's going to be determined by what songs are coming out of your heart. What are you prophesying over your life? What are you believing over your life? And this Deborah, she could have sung anything else, but there was something inside of her saying, awake, 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 awake. And she's telling herself, arise, arise, step into this battle, step into this time. And so I believe that there is some people even on this call that, the Lord's just tapping on your heart and saying, arise, awake, awake, awake. And what would it look like, if you gave everything that you could to this business for 30 days? Just 30 days. I'm not talking about 30 years or 3 months, but 30 days. And for your 30 days, they might look different than Chris's 30 days or a single person's 30 days. But what I'd like you to do is just open up your heart and say, what would it look like if I gave it my all for 30 days? And let's just allow this just 60 seconds or so just to minister to our hearts and see what he says. So I want you to write down anything that you feel like he's calling you into a rise. Like it could be for plexus, it could be not. But do you turn that on? And then I'm just going to pray and kind of wrap it.
They can hear it too.
Let me know if you.
It turned off even.
It turned off even.
Oh, supposed to do it through the phone.
Okay.
Can y'all hear music or does it sound fun?
Does it sound scratchy or good? Yeah, you're
They don't hear anything.
okay. This is
Yeah,
gonna.
it doesn't come through.
Sorry. Still can't hear. All right. That's good to know.
Just enjoy silence.
Just enjoy the silence. You guys close your eyes for a second if you would, and just link your hearts. And I'm just going to pray instead. Thank you, Father God. That we get to hear this storyline today. that there is a coming up, there is an awakening. There's awakening in some businesses even tonight. There's awakening in some dreams. And I see just like even, for like Cam and Roberta, for dreams that have been in your heart for maybe over 20 years. And I know that we share a similar storyline. But maybe you have some dreams that have been buried. Maybe it looks like those dreams are dead. Maybe it looks like those dreams are far, far away. But the Lord is inviting you into tonight to arise, to awake, and to run forward. And what would it look like? What would be maybe just even one of the dreams at the end of the rainbow, so to speak? What would be something that the Lord's inviting you tonight? We have a lot of people in ministry on this call tonight. Would it be to be in full-time ministry without having to ask for a paycheck? Would it be to have every debt paid off? Would it be the joy and elation that you'd feel from 5 of your close friends having just a ridiculous health testimonies, and knowing that you were a voice to them and that you were used as a vehicle for their health? Maybe it's a mom getting pregnant for the first time because these products regulated her system. Maybe some of you can just see yourselves writing massive checks. I know even people on this call, I know just by proximity, there's been people on this call that have written massive checks out and blessed other people in their time of need. Is there a dream that you have in your heart to give and to be a conduit and a blessing center for His provision? Just see, even for some of you, it's the stake in the ground moment where poverty stops with your family line, and you're like, man, I know my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents, they all suffered financially. They all had poverty stricken lives, but that is not the blessing of the Lord. That's not the goodness of the land. And it stops here with me, and I'm changing that for my family, and I'm gonna be a source of wealth and financial freedom for my family, for my kids. I'm going to send my kids to any college they want to go to. Maybe for some of you, it's just to be able to go into a grocery store and not have to look at the prices on every single product or put products back. Or maybe for some of you, you've been driving a car that just barely gets you there. And lastly, maybe it's just something that you want to be passionate about again, that you want to wake up with passion. You want to wake up with a dream that drives you, that the Lord has placed inside of your heart, and you know that's from Him, and you know that just being a part of His dream makes you come alive. So maybe it's any of these, all of these. But I just want you to take one more minute and just write down 3 things that you would do, even on a daily basis, for 30 days. If you were to say, man, I'm just going to give this 30 days. I'm going to go all in for 30 days. And these are 3 things I can commit to every day. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be something that you'll share. If you want to, you could share with your upline, but just 3 things. Maybe it's amount of posts that you're going to make. Maybe it's the people that you're going to reach out to. Maybe it is another form of IPA, reading, growing. Don't discount the process. Just write it, even if it's on your phone. Open up your notes app, and just type in 3 things really quick. Because this is your moment to say, awake, Deborah, awake, Deborah, awake, Deborah, awake, Deborah. This is your moment. Bernice, I know this is putting you totally on the spot, but I just felt like I saw like a flame of fire over your head. That's the only way I can, there is something about it.
The fire over it.
But I saw like a prophetic one as well. And would you mind just going on mute and just praying whatever's on your heart right now? I just sense that you might have something for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually this morning, just in my time with the Lord, he highlighted Habakkuk 2:2, and I just actually shared a video on it, but about writing the vision, making it plain so that you can run with it. And I just feel like there's so many things that are tying in with just what I was sharing and what the Lord spoke to me about this morning. And then just even breaking the pressure. So I'm just going to release that just in prayer and allow the Holy Spirit to move. So, Lord, I just lift up each and every single one on here. God, I thank you that you have them here by divine design. Lord, I thank you that you've stirred their hearts. God, you've brought them here for a reason. And Lord, I just thank you, even where they've been feeling maybe a pressure to perform, that would just break off of them right now in Jesus' name. God, I thank you that they would just feel freedom tonight, that all striving would break, all striving would cease, God, and they would just rest in you. They would step into obedience, God. And as they just choose to obey you, as they choose to just steward what you have put in their hand, God, I thank you that you're going to meet them and that you're just going to bless everything that they put their hand to. So, God, I thank you that they would prosper. God, I thank you that they would just leave this Zoom tonight, God, just feeling a peace that surpasses all understanding, that all the weight would just come off, all the comparison would just even break, and that they would just feel just a fresh charge from you tonight, God, that you have them right where you want them and that they can just rest in you. And God, you are going to do the rest as they just obey you, as they just fix their eyes on you, as they just look to you. God, you plan to give them a hope and a future. And God, I thank you for that clarity. God, I thank you for that vision that you're just going to begin to show them, God, so that they can run in everything that you have for them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Man, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Met Bernice in Israel, and I think that the timing is fitting of what you shared. And the last line in chapter 5 said, "So the land had rest for 40 years." And I just believe that what you could do in the next 30 days could set you up to have rest financially, emotionally, with your husband for the next 40 years. I really believe that, like that even things that Krista has done over the last 10 years. I mean, it's already blessed us for a decade, and I believe it will continue for another 2, 3, and 4 decades of things that she's done, songs that she sung, and things that came out of her spirit with Plexus. And so I'm just encouraging you tonight that today, things that you're writing down and this step that you're willing to take for the next 30 days could be the 40 years that will change the whole generation of your family line. And so believe that, hold on to it, grab it, and act upon it. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think on the same token is to go ahead and write out your comeback story. And to go ahead and see it now and write it out. And that might not apply to everybody, but I just wrote it down when Chad was sharing, to go ahead and like, what is your comeback story? What's the comeback story that you're going to tell that will inspire others, or that you're going to end up sharing one day on a stage, or, you know, in private conversations, one-on-one, where you get to testify to the goodness of God in your life. What's your comeback story? Write it out now in advance, and then watch what the Lord will do.
Amen. Well, we're excited. And as in closing, just encourage you, for some of your friends, family members, this will be the most church that they ever experience. And I just really believe that this is a safe place where some of your friends, family members, customers will jump on, and they'll experience things that they'll never walk through the gates of a church, but they may experience the presence of the Lord right here on a Zoom with a little company called Plexus. So just encourage you to invite someone next week even, and just keep the momentum going. We love you.
See y'all soon. Love you guys. Sleep tight.